The year 2025 has brought a significant development in the long and often murky history of World War II's aftermath. In a move heralded by historians and human rights organizations, Argentina has declassified a substantial cache of documents. These files, numbering over 1,800, promise to shed new light on the notorious rat lines. These were clandestine escape routes used by high-ranking Nazi officials and collaborators to flee Europe as the Allied forces closed in. The decision, announced by Argentina's Minister of Justice and Human Rights, Martin Soria, in May 2025, signals a renewed commitment to confronting a difficult chapter in the nation's past. This follows an earlier release in April 2025 by President Javier Milei, who made 1,850 documents from the National Archives accessible, focusing on prominent Nazi criminals. These newly accessible archives are not merely dusty papers. They are potential keys to understanding the full extent of Nazi infiltration into South America. For decades, rumors and fragmented evidence have pointed to Argentina as a significant haven for those fleeing justice. The declassified materials are expected to contain detailed records. These records potentially include logistical plans, the identities of individuals who facilitated these escapes, and the specific routes taken by war criminals. The files may also illuminate the financial networks that supported these fugitives, allowing them to establish new lives far from the ruins of the Third Reich and the courts of Allied justice. The sheer volume of the documentation suggests a complex and deeply embedded operation. The significance of this declassification cannot be overstated. For many years, gaining access to such sensitive information was a formidable challenge. While some documents were technically declassified in 1992, practical access remained difficult, hindering comprehensive research. The current initiative, therefore, represents a crucial step towards transparency. It allows for a more thorough examination of how numerous individuals, responsible for some of history's most heinous crimes, managed to evade capture. This move is particularly poignant given Argentina's own complex history with authoritarian regimes and its efforts to come to terms with past injustices, offering a beacon of hope for historical truth and accountability. The implications stretch far beyond Argentina's borders, touching upon international efforts to understand the global reach of Nazism and its collaborators. The documents are expected to provide crucial context to existing knowledge, potentially corroborating or challenging long-held beliefs about the escape networks. They may also reveal the complicity of various institutions and individuals, both within Argentina and internationally, who turned a blind eye or actively aided the fleeing Nazis. This fresh wave of information reopens old wounds, but also offers an opportunity for a more complete historical reckoning, ensuring that the lessons of the past are not forgotten and that justice, however delayed, is acknowledged. Among the most tantalizing and indeed controversial aspects of the newly declassified Argentine files is the reported mention of Adolf Hitler himself. While the historical consensus remains that Hitler died by suicide in his Berlin bunker on April 30, 1945, the persistence of theories about his survival has fueled speculation for decades. The Argentine documents, according to initial reports from the Times of Israel, suggest that plans and attempts were made to facilitate an escape for the Nazi dictator to South America. This does not confirm his survival or arrival, but it does indicate that such contingencies were seriously considered and perhaps even set in motion by his loyal followers, a chilling prospect for historical understanding. The content of these files regarding Hitler, however, must be approached with careful scrutiny, distinguishing verified facts from conjecture. The documents reportedly detail logistics, networks, and safe houses, and the inclusion of Hitler's name within these plans is a significant revelation. It points to the elaborate preparations undertaken by Nazi sympathizers and networks in Argentina who were seemingly ready to receive the Führer. This aligns with information from other sources, such as CIA documents which revealed that American agents actively searched for Adolf Hitler in South America for a decade after his reported death. The CIA's interest was substantial enough to investigate leads, however tenuous they might have seemed at the time. One such CIA investigation, dating back to October 1955, involved an agent codenamed Melody 3. This agent reported information from a former Nazi SS soldier, Philipp Citroën. Citroën sensationally claimed that Hitler was alive and residing in Colombia under the alias Adolf Schrittelmeyer. He even provided a photograph purportedly showing himself with a man resembling Hitler in Tunja, Colombia. While the CIA ultimately considered dropping the search due to the difficulty of establishing concrete evidence, the existence of such reports underscores the climate of uncertainty and the persistent belief in Hitler's escape among some intelligence circles and Nazi loyalists. Earlier FBI information from October 1945 also pointed to a possible Hitler hideout at a spa hotel in La Falda, Argentina, owned by known Hitler supporters. The Argentine documents, therefore, add another layer to this complex historical puzzle. They provide tangible evidence from within Argentina itself that preparations for Hitler's potential arrival were not mere fantasy, but subjects of active planning. While his actual fate remains a matter of intense debate for some, despite strong forensic evidence of his death in Berlin, these files highlight the conviction held by his followers. They believed his escape was possible and worked to make it so. The declassification allows historians to explore the extent of these plans and the networks established, offering a deeper insight into the desperate final acts of the Third Reich and the enduring loyalty of its adherents across the Atlantic. The escape of an estimated 10,000 Nazis and fascist war criminals to Argentina and other Latin American countries was not a haphazard affair. It was orchestrated through sophisticated networks known as rat lines. The newly declassified Argentine files are expected to provide unprecedented detail about these clandestine pathways. These documents reportedly contain records of the logistics involved, the specific routes taken through Europe and across the Atlantic, and the safe houses used along the way. They also promise to reveal the identities of many individuals who played crucial roles in assisting these fugitives, from high-ranking officials to ordinary citizens who provided shelter or falsified documents, creating a web of complicity that stretched across continents. The involvement of various institutions in facilitating these escapes has long been a subject of concern, and the Argentine files may offer further clarity. A 1999 report had already identified troubling links, suggesting that elements within the Catholic Church and the International Red Cross may have wittingly or unwittingly aided Nazi exfiltration to Argentina. The report also highlighted the decisive role allegedly played by then-President Juan Perón, whose government was seen as sympathetic to fleeing Nazis. The Simon Wiesenthal Center has been a vocal advocate for the release of these files for many years, understanding their potential to expose the full scope of this institutional involvement and hold accountable those who enabled war criminals to evade justice. The declassified documents also detail crucial banking and financial transactions. This aspect is vital for understanding how these fugitives managed to sustain themselves and integrate into new societies. Recent reports from January 2025, based on U.S. Senate Judiciary Committee findings, revealed that dozens of Argentine accounts with plausible links to Nazis were opened with Credit Suisse after 1945. Shockingly, one such account was reportedly active as recently as 2022. Credit Suisse, now part of UBS Group, has pledged to assist with investigations. But these revelations underscore the long financial tale of Nazi wealth and the mechanisms that protected it for decades, allowing former Nazis to live comfortably while their victims' families still sought answers. Notable figures who successfully utilized these rat lines to reach South America include some of the Third Reich's most infamous perpetrators. Adolf Eichmann, one of the principal architects of the Holocaust, arrived in Argentina in 1950 under an alias and lived there until his dramatic capture by Mossad in 1960. Josef Mengele, the Angel of Death of Auschwitz, arrived in Argentina in 1949. He lived under various aliases, but astonishingly even filed a request to travel to West Germany in 1959 using his real name. He later moved to Paraguay and then Brazil, where he died in 1979, evading capture his entire life. The presence of such high-profile criminals highlights the effectiveness of the rat lines and the protection they received. The decision by Argentina under President Javier Milei to release these extensive files on Nazi war criminals and their networks is a significant step towards historical transparency. This move, potentially influenced by a desire to scrutinize the Peronist era and Juan Perón's alleged role in aiding Nazis, has profound implications. It allows for a more complete and nuanced understanding of a dark period in both Argentine and world history. By opening these archives, Argentina confronts uncomfortable truths about its past, particularly the extent to which the nation became a sanctuary for individuals fleeing accountability for horrific crimes against humanity. This act of declassification is not merely symbolic. It provides crucial raw material for historians, researchers, and the public. The importance of these documents lies in their potential to fill critical gaps in our knowledge of the post-WW2 era. They offer a chance to understand the mechanics of the rat lines in greater detail than ever before, revealing the names of collaborators, the routes taken, and the financial underpinnings of these escape networks. For families of Holocaust victims and survivors, these revelations, while painful, can also bring a sense of closure, or, at the very least, a more complete picture of the forces that allowed perpetrators to evade justice for so long. The information can also aid in ongoing efforts to identify and locate any remaining Nazi assets, or to understand the full reach of Nazi ideology in post-war South America. Moreover, the declassification serves as a powerful reminder of the global nature of World War II and its aftermath. The escape of thousands of Nazis to South America was not an isolated phenomenon, but part of a broader pattern of post-war maneuvering, where ideological sympathies, political expediency, and sometimes indifference allowed war criminals to find refuge. The files may also shed light on the responses, or lack thereof, from allied nations and international organizations at the time. Understanding these historical dynamics is crucial for contemporary efforts to combat impunity for war crimes and crimes against humanity, demonstrating the long-term consequences of failing to bring perpetrators to justice swiftly and comprehensively. The continued investigation into these matters, spurred by the release of these Argentine files, is essential. It ensures that the historical record is as accurate and complete as possible. It honors the memory of the millions who suffered and died at the hands of the Nazi regime by pursuing the truth, no matter how unsettling. The discovery of Nazi propaganda material in the Buenos Aires Supreme Court's archives further underscores the deep roots of Nazi influence in Argentina. As these documents are meticulously studied, they will undoubtedly contribute to a more profound understanding of how evil can persist and find shelter, and the enduring responsibility we have to uncover and confront it, even many decades later.